the solar, what we're seeing is a lot more banks are getting involved because it's kind of got its foot in the door. It's entrenched itself, solar energy. So they're pursuing more deals, getting more involved. What we're seeing is the market itself is kind of a settling of the players as mergers and acquisitions go on. Technologies do advance, but to a certain point. A lot of people charged in, and you're kind of weeding out the wannabes, and the actual players are going to stay. The high-tech companies like Sharp Electronics, Sony, they led the pack when it came down to PV or photovoltaic module production. Because the high-tech companies already have capacity to build microchips off silicon-based wafers, they have the foot in the door. They have the contracts, they've got the equipment set up. So they kind of led the charge on the American side. Well, the thing with Solyndra was it really is what we call thin film. Thin film is really a substrate, a very thin substrate like a plastic or a rubber substrate, where a thin film of silicon is laid over it. 3-4 years ago, the price of silicon was through the roof. So it's much less expensive to make. You don't have as long a life. You don't have as great a production capacity. But its cost kept it in the market. Now that we have had a compression of the cost for silicon, that really takes their niche, if you will, out. So you'll see that start to disappear. It's only had about 10% of the market. It'll probably shrink to 3 or 4. So people look at Solyndra and saying, oh, the solar market's collapsing. It's not. The solar market's very healthy and very strong. It's just that portion of it. A lot of these producers of the panels were set up where they would have someone else grow and create the cells. They would get the cells, put them together in a module, and sell the product. There's a lot of costs related with that. So what you'll see is a lot of the what they call vertically integrated manufacturers, where they grow the ingot right up to producing the module, are going to survive, and they'll still produce. So it is a viable market, even though you hear something that's going down. The U.S. knows that they have the edge when it comes to efficiency, so they have to keep that edge. China has always been known as a mass production site, where they just pump stuff out. The quality is really not as high in some of their items. That's not saying that the modules aren't good. What we're seeing is they're more of a mass production shop as opposed to the higher technology shops in the States or in Europe. So they'll probably stay in that relative lineup for the next foreseeable future.